I decided to call a number of my clients and contacts who are general contractors. And I asked them, what are your top irritants? What are your top beefs with subcontractors? And they come in. And so they list them, and it's on the last page of your handout. The first one, and this was mentioned several times, I called it telling mom. What that means is, the subcontractor has a disagreement with my project manager. They don't get along, they're oil and water. So instead of going up the chain in my company and telling me or telling somebody else, hey, your project manager and I just aren't getting along, what do? They call the owner. Or they call the lender or somebody. They go behind your back. They step on your toes, whatever metaphor you want to say, but they do something that can ruin your relationship with somebody you care about. And they haven't even made the call to see if they can smooth things over. I have a lot of conversations with clients that say, look, we got this letter from this attorney. I didn't even know there was a problem. Maybe my project manager knew. I didn't know there was a problem. So the number one beef, and these all go to, why am I not going to hire the subcontractor again? If they make my life difficult by ruining or jeopardizing a relationship by going behind my back, I'm not going to hire them. One thing we see is bonding bait and switch, where it's a bonded job, the subcontractor says they have bonding, but when the time comes to get it, they say no, they lost their bonding capacity or they don't have it. That was mentioned many times. A third one, and this goes directly to getting paid, is on time and materials jobs, not getting your ticket signed, not getting the paperwork signed, not giving the general contractor a way to pay you. In my firm, we have what's known as rule number one. Rule number one is make it easy for people to do what you want them to do. Okay? Make it easy for people to do what you want them to do. Well, if you're a subcontractor, what you want the general to do is pay you. Yet so many subcontractors don't follow rule number one. They don't get all the requisite paperwork signed. And that leads into the next one. Their submittals are incomplete. They don't have signatures. They didn't submit the lien waivers. They have incomplete payment packets. They don't have backup for extra materials or whatever in terms of receipts. They don't make it easy. And so when the general contractor or the higher tier sub has to go to their higher level and say, hey, we got to pay this guy, you're not giving them the ammunition to go into that battle. So you're failing to follow rule number one. The last two are mirror images of each other. One is too many scope gaps, meaning that they just miss things on the bid. There's a reason you're low bidder. You bid 50,000, everybody else is 78,000 and above because you missed certain things. Maybe you have the capacity, maybe you don't, but scope gaps drive everybody crazy because then it becomes a problem, becomes a negotiation. And the other thing is too many exclusions. Too many exclusions on a bid means it's not my department. If you have employees and you hear it's not my department too many times, it's not going to be a good relationship. And that came out of a conversation where I was asking generals, why do you want to hire subs? What makes this sub somebody that you want to hire? They said, they make me look like a star. They make my job easier. They make me look good. That's all I care about. They make me look good. And that's really what people are going for. And I'll tell you this one thing because it really surprised me. Susquehanna Bank called me in to give a talk to their business banking, whatever they call them, relationship managers, loan officers or something. What they wanted me to do was explain their contracts to them. You know, because the lawyers wrote the contracts, now they have to go out and sell them. So I did, and I went through and explained everything. And after that, the person who had invited me came by and was asking me, can I do that for other teams? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can they pay me to do a series for the bank and all this. But what she said was, I was the one that recommended you, and you made me look good. That's all she cared about, which should have been all she cared about. And that's time and time again, all I hear from the GCs and from the owners is, look, these guys make me look good. It's a good referral. They make my job easier. I don't have to keep calling them about signatures, about this or about that. There are no scope gaps. So that's what the top 5 annoyance factors, or conversely, factors that lead you to get hired by the generals and the owners. So that's really what I wanted to go over this evening. Are there any questions? I referenced that a lot of times people call me for contract reviews. We do have, as I think some of you know anyway, we have what's known as empty hourglass, which is, it's just a very small monthly fee that certain clients pay between $350 and $550 a month. And it's unlimited phone calls. We review your contracts. We get back to you with analyses. It's anything from just a quick question to, and it's unlimited phone calls, letters, emails, all that stuff. Because we don't go by the hour, and we don't like sending project or whatever for every phone call. We follow rule number 1 in this way. We do our best work if there's an open line of communication. And if you have a business model where you're dinging somebody for $20 or $50 every time they pick up the phone, you're not making it easy for them to do what you want them to do, which in our case is calls. So under EHP, which is empty hourglass, people send us contracts and we just get back to them with the negotiating positions and the deal killers and the things you don't care about but you ought to be aware of and all that stuff. So if you have any questions on this, I'll be happy to help you. It's not a speak now or forever hold your peace.